Hello and welcome to the year we started a podcast born Phoenix-like from the ashes of 2020. I am your co-host, Jeff.
And I'm your other co-host, Nick.
And this is our podcast. We're a couple of friends a half a continent apart that want to come together and talk about the things that are interesting and fun to us. Nick, this has been an interesting week. I have received some spam mail. First off, before we get into that, when you get random junk mail, do you open it or just toss it straight to the garbage?
No, it's just gone. It's just gone.
Just gone immediately?
Really, it's more ignored. My wife is mad at me for not letting her clean out my my email, my thousands of emails.
I'm sorry. I'm doing a bad job of explaining my question. Physical mail.
Oh, yeah. That's just gone. I just throw that.
Just gone immediately. How often do you have a PO box or do you have a mailbox?
We have a
PO box.
Yeah, we have a personal mailbox, and it's
a personal mailbox. All right,
or not? It's like one of those community ones. Like we live in an apartment complex, so there's like
okay, right,
yeah. We have our own slot or whatever, right?
A giant mailbox with 100 mailboxes in it.
Exactly, and ours is constantly every day full of advertisements and coupons for places I never want to go. And recently we've been getting like 2 to 3 copies of most of the same things, which is interesting. But it's like you just throw that. I don't know what the deal is there. I guess people think that me and my wife are different people, but need to have the same exact things.
You know what? I would advocate that you are different people.
Yep, true, accurate.
Okay.
Oh man.
So here's why I mentioned this. We also get lots of spam mail like the entire rest of the world. However, through podcast serendipity, I happened to not throw away one of these things. It was a thing that was delivered to my mom's house or my parents' house, and I have not lived there. My wife and I have not lived there ever, and I specifically have not lived there for over 12, 13 years. But a random piece of mail got delivered, and I thought it was particularly special having been bored, opened the mail that I would never open, and reading through what it was. And I'm reading this to you, Nick. It's ripped in half because I had already ripped it in half to throw it away, but I was bored and I read it.
You were that bored. You were so bored. You're like, I'll read the ripped in half mail that I know.
I read this advertisement that has been mailed to me to my parents' address. So I already know that whatever information they have on me is more than over a decade old. I'm going to read this ripped in half piece of paper. First off, they start with Dear Jeffrey, and they have my name spelled incorrectly with it being an E-R-Y, but it's not as bad as starting it with a G. So
I'll sue them with you. I'm ready.
Okay, so this is from David Johnson, who appears to be some kind of CEO or somebody at danberrymint.com.
Danbury Mint.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So here we go. Dear Jeffrey, spelled wrong. Please don't let another day go by without telling Katie how much she means to you. ... And always has, comma, and always will.
He's looking out for you.
Yeah. Now is the perfect time. This generous gift makes it easy, especially for those of us who can't always put our feelings into words, which I feel like is a little bit presumptuous.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Come on, Danbury, or whatever.
We know you're repressed. We know
that you're incapable of expressing your feelings through words. Katie will be dazzled by the genuine diamonds, the graceful triple heart design, the gold ion-plated infinity oval shimmering with real mother of pearl. And when she turns it over, imagine the look on Katie's face when she reads these magic words.
That are coming straight from the heart, but also from Danbury Mint. From
this piece of paper I've ripped in half.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is the engraving that would be on the back.
Ooh.
Katie, I loved you. I'm so sorry.
I'm so ready for this. I'm here. I'm here for it.
I'm sorry, this is from the heart.
Of course.
Katie, I loved you then. I love you still. I always have. I always will. Jeffrey.
Jeff, I don't know if you caught this, but that rhymed. You made poetry, my friend.
Oh man, we need to keep moving because we're only halfway through this thing.
This is just our This is just our episode. This is our episode.
That says it all, don't you think? Oh my gosh. Simple and honest. Nothing too sappy. Just a heartfelt expression of your love throughout the years together. You will reap the benefits in more ways than I can say. That's very suggestive there.
Whoa, Danbury Mint.
Danbury. Go ahead and melt her heart just for $99 plus $7 shipping and service, payable in 3 monthly installments of $35.50.
I really do appreciate the financing option.
Yes, thank you. Mail the enclosed risk-free order card, and we'll take care of the rest. Sincerely, David Johnson. But the best part of this entire thing, I feel like,
It wasn't the in more ways than we can say. It wasn't that no.
Right.
Okay. That one. Okay.
P.S. P.S. As if like
there wasn't enough. We didn't get enough info.
From my good friend David Johnson, who wasn't able to fit this in the body of the letter. P.S. Has Katie ever said, "Please don't surprise me with a magnificent diamond pendant personalized with both our names and your loving words"? I didn't think so. Order today.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
So yeah, I could have missed.
You know what? I will go out on a limb and say she probably has not ever told you to not do that. So.
Oh man, but yeah,
check
right.
and mate.
Check and mate. I had no idea.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. So I ordered a few of them.
Of course, yeah. Phew. They're all gonna say the same thing, which is gonna be a little bit confusing for her when her birthday rolls around, and it's like, but this is what the first one said. It's like,
this one's for Christmas, this one's for your birthday, and this one's for Valentine's Day.
This is what David told me to say.
Right? No, I mean what David told me my heart said.
Yeah. David knows your heart pretty well. He knows where you live. Duh.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Nick, recurring theme on our podcast is that I'm very capable of hurting myself.
Oh, good. This week I hurt myself.
We're back. This week I hurt myself in a creative way. So we had been talking a little bit about watching The Social Dilemma, which maybe we'll get into a little bit here in a sec. But it had been a while since we had a good, lay down in bed, have some popcorn, watch a movie. So I got the popcorn ready and was going to bed. And when I got into bed, honestly, it's kind of, I don't even know exactly how it happened. But basically, when I was getting to bed, Katie moved, pulled the covers up, which threw the popcorn in the air. Thankfully, my wife doesn't have a microphone because she'd probably blame me a little bit more heavily on this part. But basically, as I was getting into bed, threw the popcorn, like literally, it wasn't like, oh, some of the popcorn spilled out of the bowl. The entire thing of popcorn spilled onto our bed. Which I just froze because I don't even know what the other alternative is to reacting to that. But I froze on top of some scalding hot popcorn kernels. And so I had a few little,
oh my God,
popcorn sized burns on my arm, which obviously were not serious, but I did feel like that was very fitting for explaining how apt I am at injuring myself.
So on this same note, one, kudos, sir. That's a new one. I haven't heard of the popcorn burn of yourself while trying to just have a nice cozy day or movie watching experience. It's a really good one. I've got two spinoffs from this, and one is I'm just telling stories, so I apologize. But one is when I first met Jen's parents. The night before I met Jen's parents, Jen and I were staying at a hotel that was a couple hours away from her parents' house. Mm-hmm. And so we just got pizza, some random ass place we never heard of. We just, Yelped it. It's, back in 2012 or something like that. But so the important thing here is that I somehow, I took a bite of this pizza right away. Cause I don't know. I think we were just hungry or whatever, but didn't even think about it. Just grabbed it, took a bite, and the cheese actually gave me a full-on burn on my cheek, and I don't eat I don't eat so bad that I have constant oil marks on my face when I eat pizza. I don't know why I got so greedy this day, but I had a big fat burn on my face, on my cheek, and which made me feel like a child. And then the next day I had to explain this to her parents, both her parents, her mother and father. Yeah, okay, so I swear I'm not a child. I swear I know how to eat a slice of pizza. I swear I can understand when things are too hot in my face. No, I'm not
I
that
swear,
incompetent.
I'm a functioning adult, I swear.
Right, exactly.
I've had pizza before and it didn't work like this.
It didn't do this to me before. Oh my god.
Oh man.
So I say this all to commiserate with you. These food-related burns are just must be commonplace. It must not be anything wrong with us. It must just be that it's normal.
I think it's
That's
indicative of how normal we actually are. I feel
exactly. Yeah, me especially. I'm very normal.
It makes us so relatable.
Exactly.
We're doing it for the people, Nick. All right, what's your other thing that it reminds you of?
Jen has been feeding. This is only a little story because I don't have it in our notes or whatever. But Jen has been feeding. There's these two squirrels that live like right outside of our like living room. Right outside our door. And Jen has been feeding them because she was out there cleaning and she saw one like staring at her, so she got some popcorn and gave them to the things, and they are like very fussy about it, and they're very, very like tentative about coming over, and they make a lot of like angry sounds at her. They like really want both popcorn and peanuts, and Jen's like, I'm becoming the crazy squirrel lady. I'm not the crazy cat lady. So I've become worse. She goes out at 4:00. She comes home from work. She goes out to try to feed the squirrels. It's great.
Got to be creative with your craziness. I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. Crazy cat lady, been done.
Right. Yeah. That role's been played. So when you mentioned your burning yourself, it reminded me of a story. This would have been, So Katie and I had just gotten married. So this would have been just under 10 years ago. And we were going on vacation with my parents. And maybe it was like a couple. I've probably already told you the story, but I certainly haven't said it on the podcast yet. So, a couple days before we went on our vacation with my parents to Colorado, we had been outside and I had gotten a tick bite, which growing up in the country, that was a weekly, if not hourly occurrence. So it was very familiar with just pulling the tick off, flicking it off, and moving on with your day. However, I did have it be a little bit inflamed, and so my new bride and my mother both agreed that I needed to go to the doctor to have it looked at. And so I went to the doctor, and they gave me some kind of medication. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, I was extremely allergic to. And,
oh, good.
Yeah. So I didn't know that, however, and so we went on our trip to Colorado. And the next day after we had made it to wherever in Colorado we were going, I had extremely acidic acid reflux, which sounds bad, but it is a bad descriptor of just how bad it was. Like it burned my entire esophagus to the point that I couldn't swallow. I could not eat food. I could not drink, which I'm not sure to what extent you're aware, but we are very reliant on being able to drink and eat food.
I have heard that's actually pretty important. Yeah,
and I've heard. Was so painful. So again, this is we just got married. This had to have been maybe a month in. So my poor wife, who forced me to go get this thing, felt so terrible. Anyways. Long story short, Colorado sucked. I went to a doctor and they gave me some stuff that numbed my throat so that I could swallow my own spit or food or whatever. The crazy thing is you do not realize how often you swallow just spit, which sounds gross.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. No. But
But you're just swallowing, whether you're saying spit or not. You're just swallowing, right? You're not trying to hawk a loogie.
Right. No, just you do the swallowing motion. But that was incredibly painful. So that was terrible. And then so that would have been, I don't know, probably mid-June. It was right after we got married, which was June 11th, and then we went on this. Maybe I'm messing up the timelines here, but for the 4th of July weekend, I volunteered myself before all this to do a lot of the grilling. And so here I was a few weeks into this. I could not eat anything other than applesauce and rice. And I had to grill all of this delicious 4th of July food. And it was oh man, I've never been so jealous of people with a normal esophagus in my life.
And meanwhile, you're having to serve it to them
exactly.
Here you go.
Oh yeah, I sure hope this is
Enjoy.
Great.
I won't.
Yeah, let me know how it is, because I can't let myself know.
Oh man,
that was terrible.
That's brutal, sir. That is brutal.
But I've survived, and I did not die of Lyme disease, so that's cool.
That's pretty good. It's an important thing.
So anyways, Nick, hurting myself with popcorn. We watched Social Dilemma. I had already watched the first half of it, I think, or so. Watched the rest of it with Katie. She wanted to watch it. And that certainly has some alarming things in it. And I think it's a little bit over dramatized to some extent, but it certainly isn't completely off the mark. Was there any takeaways for you personally that you thought were
Yeah, I watched it this week also, I should say.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention
No, you're
that.
fine. Nothing like crazy. It's very interesting to me. I hadn't really given a ton of thought to the next generation of kids that grow up with this stuff because, I think of myself as having grown up in the internet age, but my internet age was like I was on like video game forums to like learn more about how to play a video game, or like I watched a lot of basketball clips on like shitty websites in like the mid 2000s and late 2000s. And they raised a really good point that in there about suicide rates for girls growing up has gone up a ton directly related to,
man,
which is terrible. It hurts me.
Like, that sucks as a person with a daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't got to that point when we watched it with my wife. I've never been gutted so hard by a documentary of like, oh man, being a parent is going to be extremely difficult. Like, that was a non-insignificant jump, and that is so hard to even think about. I like to see my sweet daughter, who we it's kind of funny. Averin had never heard the song Gangnam Style by Psy, and so
kid was missing out. What the heck?
I know. But the two of them, they both love like that sort of music, like just really upbeat, crazy music. And so the four of us were dancing. But like, man, to even think about her dealing with that sort of stuff is just, that's so terrible. Like, so many parents go through their entire, the first 10, 12 years of being a dad or a mom to a daughter. And then to have them thrust into that environment, that is terrible.
So I don't want to get too emotional because, like, one, thankfully I didn't turn out with any issues or anything like that. But but it's interesting because I felt like I had experienced some of the harder parts of the internet at a younger age. When I was 12 or 13, somewhere in that age group, I made like a website for a school project, and it was just like one of those dumb personal websites when you're first learning how to do HTML. And as you did in those days, you hosted it on some free website that had a ton of terrible ads, and it was terribly laid out, but it was just like, oh look, I made a website.
Yeah.
And I was new to the area that I was at the time, and I got some comments like explicitly saying, go kill yourself, go back home or kill yourself, yada yada, just stupid, dumb children bullying nonsense. And it sucked, and I hated it, and I was really, really upset. And there was parts of me that felt super alienated from my peers. But one thing that came from it was that my computer teacher, or whatever the hell it was at the time, it's not a computer science class, but whatever class you were in that you were doing that crap in, he pulled my website down, and he had like a stern talking to with all the kids and whatever else. And it kind of became like this isolated incident. It really hurt, and it, at the time, was really rough. And I eventually moved away, and I think it like really gave me distance from that. And that's all great. I got through it. But like, I can't imagine being 12 on Facebook. What are you going to do? Delete your Facebook? Well, one, there's a million other social media platforms right now, so it's not just one outlet. And two, most of those people are your peers for much longer than they were my peers for. And if there was a layer of anonymity, anonymity with mine, I didn't know who said it. That was part of the thing, and it was like kind of easy to dismiss it in my brain because there was 2 or 3 comments or something. I don't want to make this about me in any way at all, but I just realized how lucky I was that like I got to grow up in that kind of more less matured, less polished and refined, all-consuming social media, as opposed to what 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds are gonna have to go through now. Because 12 and 13-year-olds, most of them aren't fully developed, so there's gonna be kids who are acting out in ways they don't realize are hurting people, and that's a huge part of our society, is having to cope with that. And for kids to have to deal with that on a different layer of connection, like they could be surrounded by it, and then they can just, I don't know. It was kind of heartbreaking for me. And I can't imagine thinking about it from the perspective of having a daughter that might have to not go through that specifically, but, have to navigate social circumstances where they're going to be surrounded by their peers' opinions on every little thing about them and the world. And it's just, it's a little terrifying. That was my big takeaway.
Yeah, man, like even, you and I are white males, so we have it as easy as it can possibly be, presumably. But to hear that in what will be less than 8 years, my son will be in the same like the same age that you were when you had to deal, like, which we had not talked about this at all beforehand. Man, I'm sorry you had to go through that, and
okay. I appreciate it.
Man, I don't know that we really know how to navigate this yet, and it's a very weird, hard time because, like, we know what the really bad things are, like the overt bullying that happens online and all the other things, but that sort of stuff probably nowadays would even go completely unnoticed because it wouldn't happen on a school website that people would be aware of. It's happening in I can't say Facebook because that's not the cool thing that kids are on, but like back in
TikTok, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah, you're connected to the young kids.
I doubt that.
But like it's so much more behind the scenes now that sort of stuff happens. So there's not any solace that you could have gotten from somebody who's further along in life than you are is like you don't even have that opportunity anymore. So it's even more raw in its impact with people. Oh man,
it's hard.
Yeah. So social dilemma, certainly going to be a thing that we have to deal with. When we were watching that, or I should say before we were watching that, we in our last episode, I think it was, we talked about screen time, and even the episode before that of just how I wanted to do better about it. And I said that I had done better last episode, but knowing that we were going to be watching Social Dilemma and just me having thought about this a lot because of our podcast, and I have to listen to our dumb voices talk about this stuff over and over again as I do the edit, I knew that I wanted to spend less time on Reddit than I had been even post us talking about it and my screen time being much better. And it's not that I think Reddit is bad, but what it is for me, it is the most algorithm influenced on my life for how I spend my time.
100% same thing here.
Yeah. And so what I did was I went into the old downtime settings or the screen time settings, and I blocked Reddit on my phone, and I uninstalled the app. So there was no way that I was going to get onto it without having the notification from my iPhone that like, hey, you said that you didn't want to do this. Are you sure that you want to do this? And
thank you, iPhone. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So for starters, I did that, I don't know, it was maybe 2-3 days ago. It hasn't been that long. But I can happily say that from that, and I didn't want to like block Reddit entirely because I still do enjoy the internet fun that is stuff that you find on Reddit. Like I really enjoy NBA stuff, and
I mean the internet as a whole is genuinely, I think, a net positive on the world. It's just a question of making sure that it stays a net positive, because I think that there's a lot of things basically fighting to push it back down to be like a societal negative, right?
Yeah, no. So I 100% agree. I think that the internet is good, and I think there are many things about it that make, like social media in general, that make me, like, I enjoy, like enrich my life. Like I have more fun because it exists. But I did not want to spend, because what it equated to was basically a couple hours a day or so on Reddit, or the Reddit app, or on Safari, which I have confirmed was also just Reddit. So it was Reddit in disguise. But so I blocked it, I uninstalled the app, and I only access it through my PC, which is probably 1/30th of the amount of time I spent.
Right.
And I'll tell you, in the only, again, 2 or 3 days or whatever it's been, two things. One, I spend more time doing things that I enjoy than I did before. Hard stop. The amount of times that I would pick up my phone and scroll down and search RE to type Reddit, because I have nothing on my home screen at all except for a couple apps, mostly work stuff. So I do all of my app opening through the search stuff. So the number of times that I typed RE and opened, or I was intending to open Reddit, were absolutely ridiculous. And the number of times that I did that, and then I opened Safari and then I typed RE to like autocomplete to Reddit, I would have never had known how many times I did that until I had something stopping me from doing it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's wild because I would try to open the Reddit app and I didn't have it installed anymore, and then I would be like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" Like, man, I didn't even realize that I was trying to open the
Because
Reddit
it's
app.
passive.
As I am thinking these thoughts, I'm opening Safari and typing RE to go to Reddit. Like, I don't even know how that's possible.
Because it's just incredibly passive. You build this habit and then it becomes completely ingrained in it in your day to day. And I think that's the thing that like was one of the things I didn't really touch on it properly. I don't think I was especially articulate when we talked about the subject on our first episode. But you know, if something is taking a ton of your time in a day, and when I say a ton of your time, I don't mean that you're on it like literally 24 hours, but you know, like you said, like 3 to 4 hours of screen time, I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's unusual. But 3 to 4 hours is something that you should be doing pretty intentionally. You know,
Yeah.
I don't exercise 3 to 4 hours every day. I intentionally make the decision in my life, like, you know, exercise is important to me. I want to have exercise in my life. I want to be the kind of person who exercises even when it's a little bit annoying, and it gives me all these positive things that I can go out and do. And I'm not saying that to make this into an exercise advocacy topic,
Hey,
but
I think that's fine too.
You know, that's fair. Yeah. But like, that is an absolutely intentional decision. You almost have to make it as an adult to carve out time to do it. And I don't get 3 to 4 hours of that a day.
Yeah.
If I can't say that about Reddit, if I can't say that Reddit brings me, you know, this positive, and not just Reddit, but I can't find that exact positive and lay out these lists of benefits, why am I letting myself just passively do it and waste that time away?
Yeah, and because like that is genuinely what it is. It's like I certainly did enjoy many of the things that I would read on Reddit, but if I were to tell you the number of things that I could remember that I enjoyed, like
it's minimal, right?
Like the number of things that would be from Reddit were basically nothing.
Right.
And so like if I'm
Well
spending
said. Yeah, good point.
10 hours a week or whatever on that, and I don't even have anything to show for it in my personal life at all, man, the time adds up so quickly. Because like if I'm spending 10 hours a week doing that, that's freaking 500 hours a year plus. And if I don't even know, like, what does that equate to? 20 days or whatever?
Right. Yeah.
Hold on, let me do the math.
I mean, more than 20 days. The answer to that is more than 20 days.
More than 20 days.
480 hours would be, so it's basically 21 days.
Okay. Well, so yeah, that's too many days to spend unintentionally on crap that I can't remember.
Right.
Which, like, again, as a person with a wife and kids and job and other interests, like doing this dumb podcast that we do, like, there are so many better things that I can do. Like, the biggest change for me, honestly, is what I do in the morning. Like, it is so easy to, when I wake up at earlier than my kids wake up generally.
You're a little lethargic. There's not that much to do. There's not that many people to talk to. You can start your day later, yada, yada, yada. And then you just, oops, there's all my time.
Yeah, my thing is like I wake up, I'm like 45% awake. I open Reddit and I go and see what there is to see. And you know what I do now, Nick? Now that I can't go on Reddit on my phone?
Tell me.
I fall back asleep and I get an extra hour of sleep. And you know how much that means to my day-to-day? 1,000,000,000% more than whatever dumb stuff I would have read.
It's very fair. It's very, very
fair.
Like,
It's just crazy to think that something, the barrier to making it be a positive investment of my time is as low as just going back to bed. Right. Like, is a positive ROI on my time. I don't know. So I've gone 3 days without or 2 days, I don't know, whatever it's been, without doing Reddit on my phone, and I don't know that I will ever go back. I think it is a thing that I'll probably stick to. I'll randomly check stuff on my computer if I feel like I need to, but I think Reddit on my phone is not a healthy thing, because again, like I said, the number of times that I've picked up my phone and searched RE.
Good for you.
That's way too much.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not to say that, I say that I think Reddit is like one of the more tame ones, honestly, because like I just sit on the same 2 subreddits or whatever now,
Yeah.
and those ones are not going to be so filled with content. They don't refresh that much, and they can't. I don't let myself go to any ads or any other. I don't use the front page of Reddit, and that has helped me. But Reddit is even one of the less insidious ones, and even that can be just a giant time sink. I completely agree with you.
I will tell you one embarrassing thing that happened as a result was
what it was is that someone you didn't know about a trade happening in basketball for an extra 30 minutes. That's so embarrassing.
I definitely didn't know that. Yeah. No, my brain wanted the thing, and I am not a person who's been on Facebook hardly at all for the last probably 5 years. But with Reddit blocked, I went to Facebook like 4 or 5 times. And so I've also blocked Facebook from. I'm like, nope, we're not going. That's even worse, and we're not going down that road.
Wrong direction.
Yeah. I
the
figured,
point wasn't to just find a different one.
I figured that one out pretty quick. That was not going to be what I'm going to do. So one of the things that I haven't done in a long time, as far as this specific genre of games have gone, but I think is still super fun to talk about, especially on the heels of talking about how addicting things can be.
Oh yeah.
There are a couple of super addicting video games that I've played, and I'm not talking about addicting in the like MMO sense where like you end up playing a game for years and years and years and that becomes a major part of your life, but more so like the ones that are like real quick burns, like you can't possibly set the game down for a week or two, that are just so much fun. So before I dive into the couple that are my own from the last couple of years, do you have anything like this in your life?
So I have 2 mobile games that I can't break.
Mobile games are perfect.
Yeah, that I can't break. There, and I go through phases more with other puzzle ones. It's not, my phone is literally off right now charging, so I can't tell you the name of the one because it's not like a traditional name. It's like a weird name, but it's there. It's my friend. A Sudoku, which is terrible. Like I'm like that far of a nerd as I play Sudoku.
Wait, Sudoku,
if I have,
like legitimately just regular old Sudoku.
Yeah, like there's a Sudoku app on my phone, I should say. I think it's literally called Sudoku the Clean One or something like that. And if I have like 3 minutes while I'm waiting for somebody or something, it's like 100% I'm going to try and beat a Sudoku time. I'm just like, there's nothing else. If I just
so it's like timed Sudoku?
Well, it has a time, like it's not like you have a limited time to complete it, but it keeps a record of the fastest times that you've
I know both of us very well, and I feel like the whatever nuance you want to put there,
Jeff,
but like competitive nature, time matters.
Jeff, if you want to try this with me, this is what I will actually feel decent about, because I have had this same exact app on 3 different phones, and I don't replace my phones that often.
Okay, what's it called?
I think it's just literally. I don't know if it's the same thing on the App Store, but it's called Sudoku the Clean One. I think is what it is on the Play Store. It's genuinely just clean, and I paid the $2 to get rid of ads.
Of course,
years ago. Yeah. It's ad free, and it's just like, okay, if I need to kill 3 minutes, this is a slightly like it's a brain tickler. You know what I mean? It hits my specific kind of like, I like logic puzzles because it makes me feel smart, and it's but pretending that I'm smart because I can figure out what order 9 numbers go is like exactly where my brain's at, and I have put in probably hundreds or thousands of hours into that, even though it's just a stupid app for Sudoku, which is a game as old as time, and
right. I will say hundreds of thousands of hours is a lot.
No, hundreds or thousands, not hundreds of that. Definitely not hundreds of thousands. I would say hundreds probably of hours.
Hundreds of hours. Okay.
That's and then I have another puzzle one that's a not a similar thing. It's like a map of numbers, and it's almost like a Minesweeper, but it's not quite. But it's the same idea of just being a number puzzle game, a logic puzzle game. I'll find the name for somebody at some point.
So you don't
tell me about
offhand?
I do not. I apologize to all of our listeners and to you, more importantly. I will bring it up on the next podcast. 100%. I will note it down.
Okay. The 2 that were for me, that were my biggest examples of this. One that's probably more relatable is Factorio. Do you know anything about Factorio at all?
A little bit. Well, let me into your world. Tell me about it.
Okay. So, and I haven't played this in a couple years, but basically it is a game by I think a single developer that has a huge cult following, and it's basically supply chain. So you have to go mine raw minerals and set up automatic like conveyor belts to go to automatic machines that turn it into metals, and then turn it into components that then turn it into machines that then you basically make a very, very complex factory over the course of in my case a few days. And you go from a person who landed on a planet without any materials at all to a person who's launching a rocket ship off the planet to go back home or whatever.
I love it.
I'm not sure how that translates in description to how much fun it is. There's also random aliens that attack you that you can
Like that.
So you have to. It's like a little bit of a tower defense in addition to all that. Which again, I'm a sucker for tower defense as well.
Yeah, tower defense games. I've stopped myself from playing tower defense games because I get mad at them. But
yeah, so you're all the while you're making this factory, creating a tower defense for yourself, and you're aiming toward a goal that you're basically aware of from the get-go, and it seems so far away, but every little increment as you're going along is so addicting. Like to see you create a automatic thing that gets this copper and this tin that turns into this bronze or whatever, like from the mine. It's just so it's so satisfying.
I know this feeling yeah, exactly. I know exactly how this tickles your brain. I understand.
Yeah. So basically you spend all this time fighting off aliens, getting this thing set up to make bronze, and you turn into wire or honestly, I'm butchering the actual specifics of this. Basically you set up automation and enjoy the fruits of the automation to create more automation until
you can make bigger, more complex projects that then you then use those new machines or tools to make more advanced kinds of automation.
And like the coolest thing honestly was like when you're doing all this and like you would make the next level of thing, like something would be a huge bottleneck. You would have to go investigate like, why is this taking so long to be produced? And then you would have to make new versions of it, either like mine more copper or make more of these things that turn the copper into copper wire, and feed the assembly line. Problem solving on the fly to figure out why something isn't happening efficiently was, I don't know, it's just so damn satisfying.
That is a very like for you, I know like that fits you very well because you are a fast problem solver. And I think for people who like to fancy themselves problem solvers, that's probably a very, very satisfying like kind of challenge to be like, okay, hold on, my production's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let me go get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, and then so this one's maybe a little bit more accessible, but there has never, like, Nick, I don't bestow this title lightly. There has never been a game that I have been.
Wait, hold on. Are we moving on from Factorio?
Oh yeah, you have more Factorio questions?
I have a thing for you.
Go.
Is the game that I was going to tell you about because I want to get myself into it, but I know it's bad for me and I know I can't do it. It's called Satisfactory.
Oh no, it's a game I haven't heard of.
So it looks really fun. I've only given it like some peeks or not some peeks. I've looked into it a lot, and I have a bunch of friends who are playing it right now. Is why.
Oh no! Jeff, it's Factorio, but other.
It's a 3D Factorio. I'm pretty sure. I was making sure that I was spelling it right, and that I was like not mixing up the name because it's it's a name that's a play on words, right? And the Wikipedia page for it, the first reference is quote. Satisfactory looks a lot like a first-person Factorio. So what that tells you. Exactly that. And watching my friends stream where they have like a glass tube that's like a quick transport thing, a la Futurama, and it's like they're going over their giant like layers of factories. I'm watching this
with
supply trailer.
Oh no! Oh no! Nick,
looks really fun.
Oh no, dude, this is 3D Factorio, 100%.
It sounds like it. When you were describing it, I was like, yeah, you're talking about Satisfactory, right? And then I obviously Googled this while we were talking, and yeah, it sounds great.
Oh man, I really hope I can find a new wife after.
Yikes! You went 0 to 100 there, sir.
Oh my gosh. I'm still watching the trailer.
I've lost him. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Oh my gosh. This is, yeah. I think I actually knew that this was in development a while. So this is still early access.
I think it's still a beta, yeah. But it's available on Steam right now. You can just go buy it.
Oh, I already bought it, yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about the other game.
I lied earlier. I hadn't bought it yet. I had to sign into Steam. I clicked the buy it button. I wasn't signed in.
Jeff. Tell me about the other game.
We're back.
Tell me about the other game.
Hold on. I don't remember the other game. Screw that other game.
Jeff has a new muse, a new masterpiece to work on.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, yeah. Universal paperclips, which sounds as dumb as it is. So, have you ever heard of universal paperclips, Nick?
I have not. And I Googled it, and the pictures made no sense, which I'm very excited about.
Okay. I will do my best to describe it. Again, another game that I haven't played in a couple years. However, this is a game that took over 48 hours of my life that I will never get back. So if you ever have 48 hours to kill and you trust me as a friend, you need to play this game. So what it is...
What if I don't trust you as a friend?
So what it is, you download the game. The very first thing that you enter into is you have a screen, which you click a button, and the button is to create a paperclip. And you click it, and you make a paperclip. And you click it again, you make a paperclip, so on and so forth. What you do is you start to get more efficient at creating paperclips. You're like a sentient AI. And so eventually, you get to the point where you have a machine that's creating paperclips for you, and then you have 1,000 machines that are creating paperclips for you. And your AI, it's basically an AI that is entire existence is supposed to create as many paperclips as possible, but it takes it to the most astronomical levels that you could possibly imagine. So
this screenshot in the corner says space exploration, 100% of universe explored. Launch probe cost 100.00 quadrillion clips. What? What?
Yeah, so it escalates to the point where you are turning all of Earth's...
Space exploration, funded, of course, by my paperclip company, Paperclip AI. It's funding my space exploration.
So this very directed AI is trying to make as many paperclips as possible. It turns all of Earth's resources toward that goal, and then it turns all of the solar system's efforts toward that goal, and then it turns the entire universe's efforts toward that goal. And it is like at some point you're trying to create like 7 sextillion paperclips per second or something ridiculous until you've used all of the matter in the known universe.
That's when things get rough. That's when things get rough, and the whole universe is just paperclips.
It sounds ridiculous, but my freaking gosh, is that the most
I didn't realize the implication of the word universal when I heard the universal paperclips.
Yes, it is. That is the most accurate definition of what this is.
I'm a big fan. That sounds great.
I'm serious. Do not download and open that app unless you have 48 hours where you can be the most irresponsible human on the planet, because
I'm checking my notes. It's still a pandemic. Jen is downstairs.
I don't think downstairs is far enough, but we'll take it where you can get it. But no, I don't know what about that affects my brain, but whatever affects my brain with Reddit that caused me to search RE and
I'm getting my through line between Factorio and this is that you are just about increasing efficiency. Like you're just like, all right, great, I've made this thing which can make this other thing more efficient, and now that I have this new thing that I just built, I can use it to make another thing more efficient and the next thing more efficient.
But Nick, I'm telling you, even though I've already played the entire thing through,
you turned the whole universe into paperclips.
I did turn the universe worth of mass into paperclips. If I were to pick that up again, it would be 48 hours of nothing but paper clips.
Oh my god. I'm a big fan. I would love to see it. Probably be a different Jeff than I know. I usually think of you as like calm and composed, and now I'm picturing you with like a 5 o'clock shadow and like some like really crappy coffee stains on your white t-shirt.
Nick,
and you're like, Nick, just give me a second. I'm at 98%. 98% of the universe is explored. I'm nearly there.
I only need 8 octillion more paper clips and then I'm done. I'm so close. I texted you an idea that I thought was the best idea I've ever had, and I'll tell you, I've come well off of that high horse since then. But I do still want to play this game because I think maybe it has legs, but we'll see. It might be the biggest flop in podcast history.
Oh, no.
So, Nick, last time we talked about financial stuff.
Yeah.
And recently Katie re-entered the workforce, and that's been honestly probably 6 months ago, and we wanted to start having her save some money back. Do you have any guess at where this is going?
Yeah, something with stocks, but I don't like it.
With stocks. Yeah, you don't like it. So we want to start saving some money back for retirement for her, or for honestly just saving up in general. So I've done some Robinhood stuff in the past. Do you know what Robinhood is, Nick?
Yeah, it's a stock app.
Yeah,
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, well, stock app. You can buy stocks from it. One of the nice things about it, you can buy partial stocks, so you don't actually have to buy a full share of something in order to invest in something, which is super nice because I'm not super interested in investing, $3,000 in Amazon right now for a single share. Like that's a little stressful to see the ups and downs.
Oh, okay.
But I am, however, perfectly willing to invest $20 in Amazon or nearly about anything. So I had an idea, and I don't know that anything out there exists like this. We wanted to invest for retirement or just for some savings for Katie starting working again. I will say, I work in finance, so I feel like I should give the disclosure that everything that I'm about to say is not a good idea to take at face value.
And I should say, never trust anything I do as a good idea.
I feel like you are starting to maybe see where this is going a little bit.
A little bit.
So here's the deal. I don't have the stomach to do day trading stuff, but I do feel like I have I have an interest in finding things that I feel like are good investments. I'm certainly not going to trust our podcast with our retirement.
I was going to say, I'm like, Jeff, you put me on a big spot here.
I know, trust me. I'm trying to shrink down the spot as little as possible. So here's the deal. $20 a week. I want to talk about random stocks that I've found that I want to invest in, two different ones. Cool. And I want you to help me decide which one we should
so much more better than what I was like.
Yeah, no.
You're just going to like randomly pull me for, okay, yeah, I'm in on that. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, we're putting aside a certain amount. I just want to take a percentage of that and let it be. Because here's the thing. These are places that I would typically invest in anyways, but I think it's fun to talk about because it's such a weird, when you get into it, and if you are able to spend a little bit of time doing some research, I think that investing is actually kind of fun and usually, especially in the long term, pretty successful. I mean, like I said last time, even dumb me was able to do a pretty good job making a little bit of money toward my house to renovate. But I'm not trying to flip a huge profit here or anything, but I think it's fun to maybe have a little bit of an experiment where we talk about stuff and we'll see how we did after, next week and the weeks after. And
I'm into it.
It's a thing I would do anyway. So here we go. What did I name this? The After Hours Trading Floor. Here we go.
Oh God.
Okay. So the first one is called Arlo, ARLO. Okay. And the reason why I know what Arlo is they do, I think anyways, maybe I'm completely wrong. I think they do baby monitors and other home smart devices and stuff.
Yep. And smart camera stuff.
Yeah. So they had a huge drop here recently. And of course, this is a very time sensitive topic. This very well could change drastically over the next few days. But they recently signed exclusive rights with Apple. And I think Apple in and of itself is a very interesting company with how much, I think they have a ton of, I do have a bit of money in Apple, and I think the reason why I think they're going to do well is their new proprietary X1 chip or whatever it's called. I think has like we are way going to go over time if we go into that level.
The M1, the new ARM processor that they're using for the MacBooks, you mean?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so they signed a exclusivity deal with Apple. I think they could do really well with that. So that's the first stock.
Totally. Okay. So I will say this too. Once upon a time, I knew a little bit about like home security camera stuff, and Arlo was a big name in that, and was had really high quality products as far as I knew. That's okay. I don't know, circa 2018, something like that. They were. I think they were new, but it's super high quality stuff as far as I remember, unless I'm mixing it up with something else, which is perfectly possible because I have totally fallen out of any info on that. So yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Nick. First off, I really appreciate that perspective, and also we're only betting a $20 bill on this.
Right, we're betting a 20. That's a big deal. I really appreciate that.
So right now, markets are closed off, obviously, as it is 10 o'clock as of recording. I do intend to buy the stock in the morning, and then I will also buy the opposite choice in Investopedia's little stock trader thing, and then we'll revisit this as it goes on, so we can monitor the two portfolios side by side. Okay, so Arlo, which it's cool that I'm glad that you've heard of it before. The other one is Rolls Royce. Have you heard of Rolls Royce?
No, what's that?
Anyway,
I only ride Bugattis. I'm sorry.
So Rolls Royce, the company RYCEY, that's the stock name. They sold the rights to the brand Rolls Royce like decades ago. So they make engines for both Boeing and Airbus.
Okay.
Which, as you know, has been I
feel like I've heard that Boeing
thriving
before.
Time.
Yeah, I believe that.
And like this is kind of close to home because Boeing is a big presence in Wichita, air capital of the world here. So a company reliant though on Airbus and Boeing is not going to do super great right now. So their stock price has like fallen off a cliff. But I do feel like, especially just on name alone, but also the fact that I do feel like air travel will recover at some point. Yeah. There's also another company that I'm interested in. So, Nick, between a company that has signed exclusivity deals with Apple and a currently down but potentially a good future for air travel, what do you think is a better $20 bet today?
So that's really hard. I feel like there's like I feel like Rolls Royce is probably like the safer bet because it's like I completely agree with you. I think the airline industry, I think people are going to travel by air again so much more once the pandemic is over or has vaccines are available or whatever. So that's a pretty safe bet in my brain that like in the long term that you would get your money back, I would imagine. But Arlo is a company that I imagine would be like on the up as well. And the fact that they've gone down a lot is confusing to me. And them having an exclusivity deal with Apple. Apple, I've heard that Apple does okay as a company. Fact checkers out there, our listeners can tell me that I might be out of touch. I've heard that their stock does okay. And so I imagine that anyone that they're partnering with, obviously like them selling a product doesn't necessarily mean that they have their like stamp of approval on it. Like, as this is going to be a long-term investment for us. But I imagine that they know what they're putting out there, and they wouldn't put something out there that they don't feel good about their projections for. So I don't know. It's tough. I'd say that the Arlo one sounds more interesting to me than the Rolls-Royce one.
All right, Arlo it is. I'll put $20 on that in the morning. I will say also, so since we've been doing some investing, Apple has made us the most money so far in the month or whatever it's been. So I feel happy to continue to support the things that they support because they've done me well so far.
So I this is not a really especially interesting anecdote, but I had a former manager whose husband was an Apple regional sales manager or district sales manager or something like that, right? I've only met him a couple times, but the point being, when he came on was right before they started soaring again in the mid 2000s, and man. He got exactly what you're thinking. He got like a ton of stock options at the time, and it was like I had no idea that we were gonna So it's I've heard a lot of good things about this whole Apple stock thing. It seems to do okay, huh? Yeah.
It is so ridiculous to look at their stock history. It's so crazy.
It's
honestly, any big tech companies, it's like ridiculous.
Right.
All right, Nick. Well, we have well surpassed an hour recording at this point. So despite our absolute lack of topics to talk about, we've managed to again.
Somehow I was able to talk and to talk and talk and talk. Somehow my personality shone through.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully the Arlo investment doubles and we can retire on that going forward. But either way, Nick, I appreciate
retire on your $40 payout. It doubles into 40.
Look, Nick, the math is hard. Okay.
Look, you can think of all the launchers you can get with that.
Hey, if that keeps happening week after week and it keeps doubling, I think I can retire.
Yeah, I think so too. I understand eventually how exponents work. I understand. But at the same time, Jeff, I feel like what you said was hopefully it doubles and we can retire off.
Hopefully it doubles indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Got it. Week over week.
Oh, man. This has been the year that we started a podcast and a portfolio that doubles every week. Oh, man. Nick, thanks for potting with me.